Live. Yeah, all right. Greetings, fellow godless.
What's up, heathens?
Oh, wait, what was that? Was
that
you?
Was Chip Jar saying. That was Chip Jar saying, "What's up, heathens?"
Oh, all right. It's like the godless Alvin from the Chipmunks. All right. So welcome to another Deconversion story stream, this time featuring NotJah Witness, all the way from Australia, which is way the hell down there on the other side of the planet. Because, yes, we do live on a globe. So you little flat tards can shut the hell up already. So basically what I want to do is just get you to tell me how everything got rolling. Like the first thing that kind of made you think, wait a minute, what's going on here? And then the steps that led you into your full atheism as you are now. So just take it away, man. Let's start at the beginning and we'll work our way through, and I might pop in and out. So be prepared. I'll usually throw up my hand. Question, teacher, you know, that kind of thing, right? So, so yeah, take it away, NotJah.
Well, look, it depends really how it's a complicated story. It depends what aspects you really wanted to start on. If you go right back, even when I was still young and I was in the religion, and it was definitely a family sort of forced religion, so there was never any real wanton choice in the matter. But even then, and I was still in that process of advancing through the stages of, you know, what the goal of becoming baptized and whatnot.
Right.
I always had questions. I think my problem was being brought up to always be like, I was just inherently smart and inquisitive. And it might have been something to do with the parenting that I was fortunate enough to be given, to just sort of generally be open-minded. But so when you're growing up in a religion, you sort of actively, normally you're actively not trying to do that. You're trying not to find all the different answers and question your beliefs or anything like that. You sort of sit to faith and go, this is what I believe, and science is evil and all that kind of crap. I couldn't do
evil
that.
Science.
Like I remember I couldn't wrap my head around evolution properly, but I still accepted it I still sort of knew that that's what they've been shown. Like it might not be exactly the way that, you know, it might not all be exactly the way it's described. We asked, you know, certain things we'll learn in the future. It might be a little bit different here and there, whatever it might be, but I still accepted that it's a reality, you know, like I couldn't. And so for me, I was always the sort of person that even as a young kid, I would kind of justify that there's a bit of both. I would be like, I think I wanted to still believe in God, and I still wanted to believe in science, because obviously that, you know, that was a passion for me. Just knowledge in general. And so I was always very questioning. I didn't like the idea of a lot of it seemed then they were small things, like things like the shunning, and how does that work? How are you going to help somebody if you push them away? You can't help them then.
That's
you know,
right,
like you can't reason with them if you've shunned them. But as a kid, you just go, oh, well, they know best, adults, you know. So this is the way it all goes. But I'd still always question things, you know, like how do you hate gays, but we're meant to be all loving? But I don't understand that. Or like, sorry, hate the act and not hate the sin and not the sinner. That kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it doesn't actually make sense. You know, like
well, to hate anyone that doesn't deserve the hate doesn't make sense.
Well, exactly. And as a kid, that's where I came from. I didn't go, like, I didn't know enough to know all of the intricacies of how bad it is, but I still knew that there was something wrong. It didn't make sense.
Right.
And so at one point I had a falling out with what we call an elder, which is sort of like one of our congregation priests, you'd call it, I suppose, like in another church, like a leader. And I basically just, it was quite a public thing, but it was also like my mum who was most vigorous to get me into the church and stuff. She, you know, my dad's not very religious at all. She was there. She, you know, got to hear all the fun bits. So after this falling out with this person, I was done. I was done with the church, and I was done with organized religion, because a lot of the things I had questions about were about the idea of it being an organized religion.
Right.
And none of what I read in the Bible made sense to what we were doing.
Right.
And I hadn't read the whole Bible yet, and still actually haven't, because I ended up getting to a point where I didn't want to read it anymore.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Lost
blame
interest completely.
You ever read any of the other ones, like the Old Testament or the 5 books, or like 5 books of Moses being?
Testament.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah.
So the worst one.
But I got through actually a lot of the laws, but at other times in my life I'd read things like the Psalms, Book of Solomon. I've read most of the New Testament anyway. But what I like now, and this is a bit of a jump in conversation, but now what I really want to do is start going through alternative Bibles, the same, like still the New and Old Testaments, but other prints, and really deciphering where they go differently. And I know you can do all that online now, which is fantastic. I just haven't had the time.
Yeah, it's all the different new versions of the Bible, right? And figure out where they...
and even the old ones.
Yeah.
Technically, ours is one of those new ones. You know?
Right.
It's probably the worst of them all, apparently, for how much they changed.
I don't know, man. Book of Mormon's pretty crazy.
Oh, this is true. Yeah. But that's a whole new book too, isn't it?
That's true enough.
They just threw on another whole book.
Yeah.
Hey, Josiah in the chat. G'day, buddy.
Oh, Josiah. Oh, hello, Josiah. Anyway, carry on, man.
Where was I? I had that hard falling out there. I didn't want to do organized religion after that. But I still, obviously, I had a very strong love for the idea of a God, or a personal God, there being some higher power there that was a creator of some sort, but I sort of saw it in a way that was a scientifically based creator. Like, it was not, that doesn't make a lot of sense now, but then I was thinking it's some form of creator God that worked. Like, what we see in science is just like he set it in stone, let it go, sat back and watched, or went off to another project or something, you know, like somewhere else to something else. Another universe for a week, you know, like he set us in motion and let it go.
Yeah, exactly what I was going to say. So he's busy making another universe somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. It was all, I suppose, just for my own comfort, because that whole time I never, you know, the whole idea was I can have a more personal relationship with God without organized religion. I briefly looked at other religions in a bit more detail than I had as a witness, to try and see what, you know, what I didn't learn about them, what I had already learned about them. And for the most part, there was nothing really that new to me. You know, it was all stuff I'd sort of heard before.
Yep.
And so I just stuck with that whole idea of a personal God for probably, I was 12-ish, I think, when I left left the church completely. So I was no longer going to the Kingdom Hall. I was no longer considered an unbaptized publisher. And I wasn't on the running anymore for being baptized.
Right.
But I still had, I don't know. I don't know why. I just thought that all of the things that I've gone through in my life, the things I have to live with, it was better and it was more easier to accept that there was a God, so that there was a possibility at least of some other life, even if I know nothing of it.
Right.
But just that idea that maybe I'll have a better chance in this,
Right.
another go around,
Sure. Yeah. I mean, the whole prospect of it sounds great if it's real, right? But so far no evidence. So.
Well, that's it. Just give me a sec. I'm gonna smoke a bowl.
Oh, sure. Hey, pass it my way after. That'd be awesome if you could do cyber tokes. You didn't hear that, YouTube police.
Trying to think of another usage of the word. So I'm like, we're talking about this. Pretty hard to figure out for a cyber toke. Could be something sexual, maybe. Even YouTube might be like,
Wait, what does that mean?
Yeah. Anyway, so I didn't let go of God. I didn't really want to.
Right.
So I was about 12 when that happened, and I kept my concept of God up until February this year, and so that it's trying to think of fucking 8 plus good 16, 17 years.
Wow.
I'm really good at math. I take that back. I'm not that bad at math. I didn't realize it was so late. Like, it's 2018 already. Fucking hell. Time flies.
It does, yeah.
But yeah, for a long time there, I was perfectly happy with that idea because I still kind of feel I need that. I don't like the idea that I'm stuck like this. And, but I realized that having that as a false hope is bullshit. Like, that doesn't help anyone, and it doesn't help me because I was stuck in this place where I thought I was happy because I might have this other chance. So why do I need to worry about here and now?
Yeah.
I convinced myself that I'd have a better round and I just need to get through this one and I'll be right. And I mean, even when I'd get suicidal, I was really suicidal because I felt like that was an option. These days, like, it is so the other way around. It is weird.
Well,
I feel like I have more love for life,
Yeah, me too. But I thought suicide, though, was like a sin and you wouldn't end up in heaven.
It's a forgivable sin and you don't go to heaven. JWs are very different in their beliefs. The only sin a being can make is basically to actively go against God's will, but no human actually has that ability. So by that determination, everyone will have an opportunity to present their case before God and have an opportunity to be tested in paradise with an everlasting life.
Okay, all right. So you could actually commit that and then explain yourself, and hopefully he's like, okay, come on in, kind of thing.
Yeah, well, basically, it's not an unforgivable sin. It's not a sin that is like, God is all forgiving and all mercy. He's not there to throw people down into hell, because JWs don't even believe in hell.
Right.
Hell is just death. You eternal death.
Yeah, you just cease to be.
Life or eternal death. Yeah. And the idea of the first round of the paradise would be you can still fuck up in that, even though you're in perfection, because Satan will be thrown to test us again. So there's a lot of these weird things where it's like you can justify yourself that through their doctrine, the only real unforgivable sin, or the sin that you cannot be allowed to be brought back by God's mercy, would be as if you actively go against his will. But we just, as humans, don't have that power because he is God. You'd be looking at the beings like Satan, for example. That would be one, or whatever angels that ended up following him. As for humans, God would see forgiveness in there, and they would see, you'd have him see the kindness in their heart, even if that was not what was on display. and he would give them that opportunity to show that self, if they so choose.
I see. I'm kind of confused a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's not unusual for me to be confused, but anyways, if J-dubs don't believe in hell, then where the hell does Satan live? Like here
It's
with
still
us?
a celestial being. No, he's been. It's somewhat metaphorical. If you're thinking a physical place, you're not thinking right, because it's not. It's a spiritual being. There's no heaven. The heavens is a metaphor, but God is just everywhere. It's a spiritual realm, so it's out of our physical senses, and there's no like he's up here and he's there or wherever.
Right.
And as for Satan, for example, he'd be in that same spiritual realm. It's not like they'd be standing next to each other on the clouds or something like that. It's just they're in this realm. We don't have a way of comprehending it. But when at one point,
that's for sure.
I think it's like the 1914 year or something, the whole idea was that Satan, oh no, it's probably earlier than that, fucked if I know, but Satan was flung down to the earth. I remember that being there somewhere. Yeah. And that whole idea is that was evil.
Thrown out of heaven, or thrown from wherever. God's presence.
Yeah, that's right. That was early in the Bible. That's right.
Yeah.
Too early.
Yeah. Sorry to wake you up so early, man. I hope you got some coffee going.
No, I don't actually drink coffee.
What's wrong with you?
No, I drink juice. I got some juice, and for later in the day, I have Coke. But I have, I need to have some food in me first.
True. Okay.
I have enough unhealthy things to drink coffee as well.
Well, in moderation, coffee's not that bad for you. So.
No,
I actually 1-2 cups a day. You're fine. I can't
stand the taste. I can't even stand the smell of it. But I'm an amazing barista. I am fucking. I can make you an awesome coffee.
So when you're making the coffee, you just put a little clothespin on your nose. You don't have to inhale it. Or...
No. I did get used to the particular blend that I worked with. It wasn't as nasty of a smell, and I was really good at not burning coffee. Like, too many people just burn their coffee, and my God, it smells awful. And then the machines will smell. It's like, I'm good at keeping my shit clean, and so I could even stand the smell of my coffee. I couldn't drink it, but I could smell it and go, yeah, this is a good coffee, mate. Like, you're going to like this one.
Damn, man, I kind of wish you'd make me coffee now.
Yeah, if I'm there, I will. Give me a proper machine though, not a friggin' pot and kettle or whatever.
Yeah, it's pretty much all I've got here. It's one of them professional ones. Well, they're semi-professional ones.
Yeah, I know the sort. Most people do have them now, but my dad drinks a buttload of coffee, but he refuses to have them because he just likes the old, shitty, burnt coffee taste.
No, those old school percolators.
I don't get it. And anyway, back to the story. Enough of the coffee sidetracking. I can't actually remember where we were. I'm gonna have a quick smoke.
Well, we were talking a little bit about the whole Satan God thing, but we're still. Let's track back to the part you're at where you decided you were just going to have this personal belief that there was some kind of deity and some kind of afterlife, and how did you end up dropping all of that?
It was sort of this is tough because it's still so fresh. It's honestly started mid last year when somebody I had looked up to in a musical world off to themselves. And that got me questioning again about suicide, because it was something I was still trying to wrap my head around as well, the whole idea that you could be forgiven for it.
Right.
And so I was going to my family, my religious family. Shouldn't have talked about this.
You okay, man? Take your time, dude.
So I was assured, obviously, that, you know, the whole spiel, like I just went and gave you, you know, no unforgivable sin and all that kind of shit. You know, like, yeah, okay. And it gave me comfort. It did.
Understandable.
That's probably when, I don't know, I stopped caring about like I'd never been in the position. Just give me a sec.
Like I said, take your time. I'm by no way or no means was I trying to get you in a bad place, by the way. Although I know that sometimes these kinds of stories can, you know, bring us back to somewhere that was tough.
No, exactly. And I mean, this is why I actually enjoy these things, because I do need to talk about a lot of these things, because a lot of the time I haven't been able to connect them a lot of the time. Yeah, you know, I don't get to process it until I connect it through a conversation. So
sure, yeah. Well, I'm glad you're talking to me about it. That's really cool of you. And hopefully I can help a little bit, maybe.
Yeah. I've never been in a position where I'd needed or ever imagined that it was like, because I always still held that conviction that there was an afterlife, and it's not like everything happens for a purpose. I wasn't a determinant, like, I don't believe that, you know, it was God's will. I never ever subscribed to that kind of shit.
Right.
But I always still had comfort knowing that when bad things happened, they would, you know, have a chance. I mean, with everything, all the things that happen, you know,
right,
babies that die, people starving, and, you know, all these things in the world, it's like you can come to terms with easier because you go, well, they'll have a whole new chance, perfect opportunity, you know, where like they'll be fine, you know, they'll be okay.
Right. Yeah. I've always kind of
fucking Russ.
Oh jeez. Hey Russ. Stop quoting the Holy Grail, damn it.
Good on you, man. That's a fucking good movie.
Yeah, oh yeah. It's one of my all-time favorites. I think I've literally seen it over 1,000 times. Leave it to him to bring it in here too, right?
Yeah. Gotta love him.
Yeah.
Fuck. That threw me so much. It was good because it got me laughing, but now I can't remember what I was saying.
About, you were talking about how, you know, all the tragedies that you notice happening in the world, you figure that these people are better off, and yeah, that kind of thing.
Like they'll have another opportunity, all that sort of stuff.
Right.
And so, you know, that's one thing that it gives comfort. But then if you're, especially somebody like me, as I said, I was always open-minded. And so at some point in my life, I was going to have that moment that I did in February where God would no longer be a thing. You know, that was always going to be inevitable for me, at least. And the problem with having all of that faith beforehand is that now all of that you'd understood, like, for me, it's people. For me, it's just people. That's what I care about. So it's all the people that I could see having another chance. Now don't. That was it. They're done.
Right.
Or like even people that are still around, but that's your plight and you're stuck with it.
Yep. That's why you try and make it the best you can while you're here, right?
And
Not
that's
just
it.
for you,
That's
but
why,
for everybody else, the people that you care about, especially.
especially like with one of the most noticeable things for me personally was my suicidal thoughts are no longer tendencies. Like
That's
there
great.
is no desire to do anything. I get down, and there's not even like, even when it passes my mind, is it really worth it? Immediately, I just like, I turn the other way and go, fuck yes, it is. This pain is good, or this hurt is good because I'm feeling it. I'm
Yeah.
here. I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like, and the reason I'm feeling this hurt or this down is because I was feeling that good before, or in future I'm going to feel that good soon, and it's going to be worth it.
Well,
Like,
feeling good and feeling pain is a part of life. You have to take the lessons from that pain and try not to have that pain happen again.
Exactly. And
right?
but exactly. And that's why I the only thing I like, not the only thing, that is such a lie. I mean, it's such a big thing though for me that changed, because I still have all of my personality traits that I had before. Like a lot of people will have, or they might think that you'll have these personality changes in you, especially when it's a theist looking at you, like, because you obviously
Right.
have a different opinion of things.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, I mean, I'm still that same person, like, and I'm still clearly kind of stupid because I follow my heart too often. But
Yeah, I hear
that's
you there.
human. That's
Yeah.
human, like, that's part of the experience.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like, where I used to feel that was a shameful thing, even, because I had to be a
Really?
happy person for God. Yeah, you have to
Oh.
present yourself very, very happy. Everything, it's perfect. Like, we have the best life. We're
It's
serving
weird.
God. But
It
fuck me dead, it's
seems
miserable.
weird. It seems weird because if he's God, knows everything, then he knows you're putting on a facade, pretending to be
Yeah.
happy.
Again, this back to when I was young, one of those things that didn't make sense to me. Like, I literally put this to one of the elders. This is before the big falling out, while I was still trying to get to being baptized. I was way too young, by the way. But anyway,
Yeah.
one of the things I'm like, what we're pretty much doing is, it's putting on an act. Like, are we con artists? And the guy actually looks at me, he's like, in a way, in the actual definition of it, yeah, we kind of are, because we convince people. We master the art of convincing people.
Right.
And in his way of saying, he was trying to say that God is there and the Bible is true, and that's what we're trying to convince them of. But all I was hearing is, no, we're putting on an act this whole way through, to con people. Like, I know what he was saying, and that it's these little things. But again, I was still thinking, okay, maybe he's right,
Maybe it's all for the good.
Yeah. But this just goes into why you don't do this to kids. Like, you don't put kids in that position. You don't, like, and baptizing them, because the stuff that, especially in JWs or other religions that are like that crazy, the responsibilities that are hurled on you after you become baptized is ridiculous. And it is a lifelong commitment. Like, because if you don't commit, they will take everything from your life. If you have family in there, because they will shun you, but it's about basically ruining your life. Like, if you have family, you wouldn't want any of your workmates to be a JW, because you'll lose your job, you'll lose your family, you'll lose your home. They're pretty extreme, but it's all passive aggression, or it's passive.
Yeah.
It's, it's not like Scientology, who come out on the street with, cameras and do their attack sort of thing, like, in your face. They're very passive about it. And I've even seen some cases now of JWs with the cameras on the street following people, which is
really
weird. Yeah.
That's
you can even
a
tell the
thing now.
JWs don't want. No, well, the one I saw was this little old lady, like, and she just didn't look like she knew what she was doing. She didn't look like she even wanted to be doing it. She was like, somebody told her, this is an evil person and we need this footage, of this person. And it's just ridiculous. I have to try and find it and link it.
And this is against her will?
It kind of seems like it, but if you asked her, like, she would say it's her decision and stuff. Like, she'd say, no, I'm doing it for, them, but because she wants to do it. But yeah.
Wow. That's fucked up.
Fuck, we're good at getting off on tangents, aren't we?
We are, but that's okay, because we'll always bring it around, right?
Yeah, well, as long as one of us is keeping track of where it was when we did it.
I'm doing my best. So.
No, you're doing well so far. So.
You were about the deconversion part. You were pretty much at a point where you're getting close to the recent events within the last year that, like, you're finding your way through all this crap, and you're starting to say, that's going away. But what was it, I think, that drove in the final nail to the coffin that made you throw up your hands and go, you know what? This whole fucking thing is bullshit, and I'm out. Like, give me that part of it from here on out. Because you pretty much talked about your process from the earlier time.
Yeah. So this is the February. Like, this is just this year. Is this what you're referring to?
Yeah, like the parts that led you up to last February. And then we could talk a little bit about what happened after that and what you decided you wanted to do as a new atheist. So
okay.
So let's work up to that February point, from the point where we left off, where you're talking about were you baptized, or you didn't end up being?
I was an unbaptized publisher, so I was working up to becoming baptized. But it was like the next run down.
Okay.
So what basically, like, after it was sort of that, if I'm not misreading what you're saying, it's between the time of this person offering themselves last year and February, what led into that, because that's sort of what that moment was, even though mid last year I was obviously still considered a theist. Not that I'd ever called myself that. Like, that's such a weird thing to say. Like, atheists, even saying that, I'm like, it's just a weird thing to call myself.
Well, yeah, that's true, but it is the label we have to use because we are without gods. So
yeah, especially when it's for the context of things. Yeah.
Well, it's not like we walk around on the street going, "Hey, guess what? I'm an atheist." You know, it only ever comes up if somebody asks, "Oh, like if you have to fill out a form, what religion are you?" I'm like, "Fucking none." People ask you, "Oh, so do you go to church?" And, it's conversational. Then you come out and you say, "Oh, I'm an atheist." That's generally really the only time I use it, unless, of course, I'm on some format of social media trying to bark a little bit and shut people up that are trying to take control with their God beliefs, right?
Well, there's always a time and place for that.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so the little bit just before you hit February of last year, where you're saying that's around the time you decided to fucking wrap this shit up and chuck it, right? So what led to that eventual point right there?
It was an accumulation of that going through my mind with the suicide stuff and its relation to my old God, that God I had at the time, all the doctrine bullshit, and my YouTube habits, because I've also been on YouTube with other channels, very unsuccessfully though, for a while, and obviously on YouTube as a viewer for fuck knows how long now.
I know, me too. Since 2007 for me.
Yeah, it'd probably close to then as well, because I remember I was just at the end of high school for me, or just after high school, that I started getting into YouTube. So that was around then, somewhere there. So yeah, with my YouTube habits being obviously all random goodness, but then a lot of scientific based stuff. I was never afraid to watch people like Dawkins, even Hitchens. I wasn't necessarily a fan of them, but like I would watch them and I would try and let them challenge my ideas, but I never felt challenged by their ideas. Like I always found a way to assimilate both my personal beliefs and the science of things very easily, because it was just one and the same for me. And I deviate obviously a lot by then from what a Jehovah's Witness believes, because that would be quite not what they would believe, you know, or at least they would try not to let many of their people believe that. Like maybe there's a higher educated person in the group and they would let them sort of go along with things if they want to, you know, like, but they wouldn't let them talk about it with the group or anything, you know, like with the congregation. But yeah, I would always, you know, in a combination different science channel, like what's his name, Neil deGrasse Tyson. He is amazing. I've been a big fan of him for so long. Bill Nye, the Science Guy, another awesome fella. And they're a great example of the sort. Like I would watch Dawkins and those when I'm out to challenge, you know, when I'm looking for that religious, like, or when they've done a big interview or something, like the Ken Ham thing, because that was actually when I first heard of Ken Ham, and I still don't really care for the
guy. He's insane, man. So I don't know.
Well, this is where for me, when I watched that first time, I was like, what an unfair fight, you know, because Ken Ham is not worthy of that arena at all. You know, like you could have gotten a proper scholar in there who at least would be reasonable, and it would have made for an interesting debate. But that was my theist point of view going, well, this is a reasonable thing. We could have had a proper conversation. But obviously from an atheist point of view, you're going, you're all full of shit. It doesn't matter who says what, you know, like, and there's a million of them. How many do you want me to do? You know, like I can't pick out everyone's religion to point out all of your flaws. You know, you have to go with the big ones that cover the most that you can.
Yeah.
And that was where, as a JW, they get away with things because they go, oh, well, they're not actually talking about us. Like, we don't actually believe in the hell. Or we don't go to hell. You know, all these little details that you can go, oh, well, we're different. So we still have it right. Oh, you fucking
but that's just it, right? Every denomination of any religion thinks that they've got the right way.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Just shake my fucking head. How about none of you have the right fucking way? That's why you're all split, because nobody could decide what the right way was.
And that YouTube led me into coming across, you know, Professor Stick, genetically modified skeptic.
He's
trying to think
great.
of the earlier ones. Hith.
Hith.
And I ended up
Professor
coming across Telltale. And when I hit Telltale, I immediately was like, I am not touching this channel with a 10-foot fucking stick. Like, I could see that unlike all the other channels that I'd stumbled across that were hitting on Christianity, he was smart enough to go, no, I'm just going to focus on, for example, the Jehovah's Witnesses, which was his thing.
Yeah.
And that was why I was like, I'm not going near this one. Because even though I wasn't a witness at the time, I was still like, just no. Like, I know he was a threat. He could shake my beliefs even that long after having left. And it took not too long, like maybe a week or so of suggestions constantly popping up of Telltales and even John Cedars. But at that point, I was also avoiding him when I was just like, if I'm not touching Telltale, I'm not going anywhere near Cedars. But then, I don't know, I can't remember what, it was somebody else's video. One of the other guys, maybe, I really can't remember who exactly it was, but somebody touched on something about the witnesses. And it was enough for me to just go, oh, okay, I'll just click on one of Telltale's videos, you know, and it really didn't. Like, once I did one, I did another, and then I was going through every single one of his videos, every one of John Cedar's videos that I could find, and then I was just done. Like, I think the things, like, and there's so many of them, but some of the big ones were finding out about the child molestation cases being covered up here in Australia at a mass level. That shocked me, because I was just like, that happens in that, like, my family's religion. Like, that's, you know, that's one of those things that I'd never seen in that religion in my life, and I was obviously lucky to have not seen it.
Or you hadn't seen any. But that kind of shit happens not just in religion, but any people that end up in positions of power that have children around. It can happen, and it's unfortunate. And I've already kicked the shit out of somebody that's done that to a kid once. And if I ever catch someone doing that shit again, I'll definitely be bringing the hammer down on those little pricks too. So, because that shit just, I literally rage. You know, like when Wolverine goes into fucking berserker mode, that's me when I hear that sort of shit, right? So it pisses me off to no end.
I suffer from that same emotional expression when I hear things like that, where, there are a few things that will rage me as much.
That's probably number one for me.
People in unjustness, or whatever the word is, you know, like when you see something so blatantly wrong, you know, in every way, it's sickening, and you know, you feel you have to act.
Yeah, and I did once, because I caught someone doing something like that, and I literally dragged them out front of the house of my friend's place, because I didn't want to get blood all over the inside of his place, and I pounded the shit out of him until he couldn't fucking breathe. And then the hospital the ambulance came, grabbed him, dragged him to the hospital, and I told them why I did it. And one of the guys going, "Oh, you know, you shouldn't be," but at the same time he's winking, like, "Good job," kind of thing, right? So, but anyway, we're sidetracking again. Yeah, pedophiles, if you're watching this shit, I'll fucking find you if you live around here.
Let's not name one.
No, I'm not. That's not about that. It's. I'm already fuming on the inside, so let's carry on with
That's right. Okay, there was another one. Now I'm trying to remember, because there was things like Pillowgate that I noticed, and that was pretty fucked up. Oh, that's right, just the new light. The idea that the belief that I had grown up with, and that a lot of people grew up with, just suddenly got upheaved and overturned, and just was like, yep, no, we were wrong. This is now the new stuff. And, you know, with the whole new definition of the generations or whatever, they extend their time. And it's just like, for whatever reason, when you only know one set of rules, like, because we were taught that they had these other, you know, they were wrong in the past, and, you know, we run by the organization is still run by man, and so man still make errors and stuff,
right?
And that's the whole idea. And so, but when you grow up with just one set and you don't go through any of those changes, it really becomes an eye opener when one of those big changes hits. Because even people that have been through some of the older changes were like, what the fuck? Like, this is the basis of your entire preaching here, and you're changing it on us. You know, like, and people, they're like, people have lost their lives due to simple new light, just changing the rules. And then the people that were following the rules now aren't following the rules, you know, and they might be in prison in a country that is about to kill them, and then they kill them because the witnesses just gave up, because they're like, oh, well, you're not going to be forgiven by God now because you're not following the rules. And then they let them die. But nobody hears about this. You know, no one in a congregation would ever know about this. If anything, it would be a write-up on the what do they call the fucking people that die for God?
Martyrs.
You know, that kind of martyrs. You know, it'll be a martyr for the witnesses. But they won't use that word, but it'll be like, and You know,
But-
we know now that God's going to look after him and all that shit of bullshit.
Yeah, but if he's arrested for something that was bad, how could he be a martyr or killed for something that it was bad? Because martyrs are generally what the
No,
people who believe
no,
what
of
they
course,
believe.
it'll be a
He'd be
write-up.
doing
It'll be a
something
write-up.
good. Oh, I see.
So let's
Okay.
say that would, yeah. No, it'll be a Trump's fake news,
Yeah, right.
just to convince their minions.
Right. That makes more sense. Okay. Well,
I really hope my little brother can't hear me. I just realized he's still home. Whoops.
who's still home?
My little brother. And he's
Oh.
baptized. Everyone else
Oh.
went out, so I'm here like speaking up real loud about all this.
Well, does he know?
Ooh.
Oh.
No, not yet. I'm working on it. Dude, because I know he's more reasonable. I'd be able to get to him.
Him
But
first.
there'd be a severe, because he's baptized, there'll be a severe breakup in the home because mum is as well. And mum
Oh.
will be much harder to convince.
Right.
So it's a long-term strategy for those
Okay.
two.
Right. But you feel that your brother would be easier to communicate this with this stuff to him?
It really depends on the circumstance, but generally speaking, yes. It could also
how
go
old
way
is he?
wrong.
How old is he, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, shit. It's not that I mind, it's more that I have to do math to work it out.
Oh.
It would be 23, I suppose, thereabouts, 23 or 24. 24.
Okay. That's not so young then. He should be. Well, I don't know. I don't know your brother. I only know you for what I know of you. So, do you think it'll be an easy conversation with him? Or do you think it's going to be a little bit touch and go?
It'd be touch and go. As I said, it depends a lot on his mood. He has certain personality traits, certain disorders that are hard to deal with. So you really have to know how to approach him. And being this is his one passion thing, it will be a touchy subject to broach. But I think if done correctly, if done slow enough, and if done not directly, like just sort of hinting at things, positioning little things, I think slowly, then there might be a little light bulb moment for him
Right.
that he'll do more research. That's the direction I could see it working. If I tried to sit down and talk to him directly about all of this, it would end the relationship there and then.
No, and you don't want that. So
That would
you're,
then go to mum, and then that would be really bad.
yeah. So I think the approach you were mentioning would be the best way for sure. Little by little.
That's the goal.
Chip away at the stone. Little Aerosmith there.
That's the plan. I love me a bit Aerosmith.
Yeah. Oh yeah, me too. Lots of their old stuff, like pre-pump. I like all that stuff.
I could go with a bit of I think because I was in that generation where I still got hooked on that bloody song from that movie. It was a ridiculous movie.
Oh, the Armageddon movie?
Armageddon movie. Yeah, it was Armageddon or Pearl Harbor. I always get those two mixed up.
It was Armageddon, the one with the Aerosmith song. I just can't remember the fucking name of the song. But yeah, you're right.
Don't
It was a
wanna
stupid
close my eyes.
Oh,
I got
yeah,
into
yeah,
that
yeah.
as a kid.
Yeah.
But that because I have to give it credit, because that's when I went back and found all of the other songs that I didn't realize were Aerosmith songs that I knew. I'm like, oh my god, I'm an Aerosmith fan. Like, I did the same thing with
What
Guns
the
N'
hell?
Roses.
Yeah, I like
Guns N' Roses songs that I knew. I never knew it was all Guns N' Roses. Like, I was just a kid. There were songs, you know.
Oh, sure. I did the same thing with many bands like that. I had no idea who Rush was until I figured out who Rush was, right? I heard the song, I thought, and you know what? With Rush, I thought the singer was a girl first. I was like, what kind of dude has a voice that high? I was like, there's no way. And then my buddy's, no, his name is Geddy Lee. And I'm like, his name? What? And then I bought some albums. I was like hooked from there. So yeah, I'm a big Rush fan. So. Number 3 on my top.
Fair cool.
Yeah.
Fair cool.
Okay, we're
Yeah.
off track.
Oh.
we're sidetracking,
Yeah, no,
but that's
I'm about to
okay.
go to hands too.
That's all right then.
Where were we then?
You were we were talking about how you were going to break all this to your brother, and before that, you were just climbing up to the moment where you finally decided to say, "Fuck this, I'm done, cashing in my chips," that kind of thing.
That's right. With the different things I was learning about them.
Oh yeah, through YouTube.
The stuff in Australia, the new light stuff, and then obviously I'm learning a lot of I'm not learning so much as realizing a lot of the stuff I knew, and it's just having somebody else directly showing me that these behaviors are not good. These behaviors can even be incriminating in places. And at the worst case, or I mean best case scenario, these behaviors are cultish. Even if you don't want to call them a cult, they're cultish. And a lot of these things all at once, I was just, I mean, as I said, I was already on YouTube. I've already been doing video editing and stuff. It was just immediately I realized, like, even though I didn't know yet what I was going to say, I had to start saying something. Like, I had to get involved, because it was a light bulb moment of realizing that it's not just that, oh, this, you know, group or a cult and they're doing all these awful things. Because I already had plans on another channel, and I was working on doing an expose on Scientology before all of this. And that's how involved I was in understanding cults, yet I was still blind to it being my own, or former.
Right.
And so it was very, very easy for me to just follow through and go along with that. But it was more about, this is now personal, because it was my life, that's my family's.
Yeah, that's I think
Those, you know, yeah.
One of the hardest parts. One of the hardest parts is realizing, you know, that the family is still there, and you want to. Well, for me, anyways. But my family was mostly fairly secular Jews, anyways. So we ate bacon and shellfish, and we wore mixed linens and all that shit, right? So very, very reform. Very, very. We went to, you know, they took us to synagogue when we were kids. We had the bar and bat mitzvahs, and then a little bit after that is when I just was like, "Fuck this shit, it's garbage." But anyway, they're still kind of attached, and you want to talk to them, and you want, you know, like you, little by little. And I've spoken with my mom, and I think I might actually have her coming out of this now, but it took a long time. So yeah. But you feel inside that you're just like, fuck, you know, these people don't realize that they're being swindled, really, is what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
And I appreciate now, especially my time more, because I know it's limited, whereas before I didn't want to think it that way. And so the whole idea of, you know, seeing people like, people like Telltale, people like John Cedars, their stories, and so many others that I've heard from people publicly and privately, of shunning, and never seeing their family again. And it's knowing that time is limited, whereas these people don't think it's limited, but they still think that they'll never see you again. They go along knowing that they'll never see you again, knowing that, or thinking that they're going to have this other life without you, and they're happy with that. Whereas seemingly, we know, yeah, of course. And we're on this, like, I know it sounds I'm making sides and stuff, but it's not. It's just trying to clarify that we're on this side going, you know, I know that we've only got this short amount of time to be together, to know you, you know, while we're on this planet alive. And you want to waste it? You know, like, it's fair enough if you're a random, who cares? Be a family.
Yeah.
You know?
And you want to, yeah, exactly. You want to, yeah, you know, I don't even know what to say when it comes to shit like that, because it's like, wow, you're really going to just, literally disown me. And I know it starts to get me all kind of pissed off too when I start hearing shit like that. So
yeah, it is ridiculous, and people are so strong. Like the stuff they go through. Whew.
mm-hmm.
I just don't know. I couldn't do it. You know, I couldn't imagine the strength that even people like Telltale have. It's just unbelievable.
People that claim to love you and care for you. It's just like that. It's like a little switch flips, and they're like, "Nope, now you're nothing to do with you." That to me is just crazy. What? Frustrated. He doesn't know a lot of Rush.
But Russ is annoyed with you because you didn't give him a wrench. But I'm gonna. Do you know how long?
He wants a wrench.
To give me a wrench. It took him like 10 minutes. That's all we were doing in that lead up, waiting to go live. Was him? He was trying to give me a wrench.
Hang on. I'll give you a wrench. Oh. Jeez.
We're pro like that.
Whiner. What a whiner.
Yeah, I know, right? Little bitch.
Hey, Strawman just learned Spirit of the Radio on guitar. Fuck. Where do you live, Strawman? I need another guitar player.
Ooh. Yeah, see, I remember hearing about Rush back in the 2000s as well. I think I've still got one or two songs of theirs on my computer. Or might be an album or two. I can't remember. It's been a while.
Sorry, I had to jump to another screen to do this. Where the fuck? Why isn't this shit coming on? Oh, there we go. There we go.
Let's boot Russ. He's using all caps. He's being
okay, I just turned him into a moderator. So.
Oh well, look.
And I'm gonna turn Diana into a moderator as well. Anyone else? That's not why he's upset. He said, "Okay." Well, we'll talk about why you're upset maybe later on when we do the after show. So then you can go to town. But we're still listening to NotJah tell us about
some bullshit.
How he left the bullshit. So, and I'll turn Josiah into a moderator as well because he's another one of my favorite people. Anyway, should stop like fucking blowing people here. Anyway, I couldn't think of another way to put it right off the top of my head. So.
Nothing wrong with a bit of fellatio in the morning.
Yeah, nothing wrong. Yeah, as long as I'm receiving. A protein shake for breakfast. Woohoo! Anyway, yeah.
Swish, swish, swirl.
Yeah, I'm sure to get advertisers on my channel with this kind of talk.
Oh, this is nothing compared to some of our shows. Come on.
That's true.
This is clean. I haven't even started with my avatar yet. Do you want me to?
Save that for the after party. Let's try to keep this as a modicum of some sort of professionalism or something. Or at least pretend that we're doing it.
Fake it till you make it, mate.
Exactly. Fake it till you make it.
So yeah. I don't know where we were. I know we were at the end
Josiah.
Of my...
Well, you were just getting to that point where you were about to say you're about to take Jehovah's Witnessness, drop kick it like a hacky sack through the fucking uprights.
That's pretty much what happened. Because after going through all of those channels, it was just an immediate thing where I was just done. I'm on YouTube. I did not take did not take very long at all for me to start up a channel. And I think one of the first things I could, because I didn't really know what to say yet, and I didn't have any I wasn't confident in my style of what I was going to present for this channel. So I was and so I just decided I'm doing something simple with the my children's My Book of Bible Stories.
Those are cool, actually.
And yeah, I had fun doing it. and it helped me learn a few procedures that I needed for this particular style, and it just gave me a bit of time to find my voice. And as I was sort of doing those videos, I was writing up a video shouting out to, at that point, all of the online YouTube atheists that I'd been, utilizing, that had helped me break free of that mindset. And I did a big shout out video, calling them all out, putting their faces on the thumbnail, trying to link as many of them that I could, and they all paid attention. I was blown away, and that is actually one of the reasons that I sort of decided, okay, I can do this, and I am, I have a voice. People will listen.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And I always try to encourage other atheists that might still be hiding in the closet a little bit to, you know what, kick that door open, man, and let your voice be heard, because the more of us that are out there speaking our piece, we might convince other people that they're on the wrong track. And that's why I'm doing this series of videos. So maybe I can understand a little bit more of the deconversion process for people, because mine was fairly simple. It's very similar to Aaron Raw's, actually. And he's promised to come on my channel and do an interview with me as well, just so you guys know. So at some point, I'll talk to him and figure that out. So maybe I have a better understanding, so that when I start doing my street epistemology videos, similar to like Reed Nicewonder and Anthony Magnabosco, I'll have a better understanding of how the deconversion happens. So I might be able to ask better, more proper questions. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. More relevant ones for that person in particular, especially.
Right. Exactly. And I'm hoping to talk to some Muslims about deconversion as well, because of all the Abrahamic faiths or religions, I think I probably know the least about Islam, even though I've read some of the Quran and the Hadiths and stuff. So, but I still want to learn more about how, because, I think they get the worst of this, because they literally will be killed if they're found out, if they're in a country where that happens. Not so much here, but you know what I mean? But it could even still happen here to them. And those are the guys that I fear for the most, right? Is those poor Muslim people that do become apostates, and now they got to hide. And it's sad, and it's disgusting, really. But how our lives are so devalued by these religious beliefs, it's just ridiculous.
I was just made me thought and I'm not sure, this is just an act, like, I don't know the answer to this. Is it? I suspect, is it worse for an atheist hiding in a Muslim country in fear of death? Would it be worse for them than it would be for a Christian or another person of another faith, again, like an enemy faith, so to speak, of that country?
Right.
In that same fear, like, would it be equatable?
I think, you know what? I think you could say they were equatable, because I think even if you're not what they would call a Muslim or a true Muslim, or you're not in the Islamic part of the Abrahamic faith, then you are worthy of death to them anyway. So even if you're a Jew or a Christian or an apostate, or or you were always an atheist, those are targets for them to fucking behead people or whatever, throw them off roofs, or homosexuals too, right? They also have that possibility of being killed over there, anywhere where they're religious countries, right? So you don't want to be anything.
And we could take this even to extremes. I mean, it's not. It's extreme for us, I should say. But it's not, because it's real life there. Right. You could be a female who takes your head covering off or dances.
Yep.
I saw that girl, that young girl, was doing that awesome dance on her video, and she looked great, and she fucking danced like I could never dance. But all I could think is, I'm fearing for her life now.
Yeah.
Like, I hope she gets out, because, like, I'm all for somebody, like, standing up and being in their country and trying to promote change, but I don't want people dying.
No, of course not. The part of this that pisses me off personally the most is that people are using something that isn't even fucking proven ever to kill people with it. Right? My fucking my invisible sky daddy that no one's ever proven has told me to fucking kill you.
What scientist will kill you if you don't believe in their academic paper or whatever?
Yeah, exactly.
None.
What? You don't believe in evolution?
None.
Behead him. He doesn't believe in evolution.
Because they have no alternative. Like, they have no way of reasoning you proper. If you've realized the bullshit, you know, they know that they can't help you, basically. So instead of letting you be a voice of reason in their area, they're going to kill you. They're going to cut the head off the snake.
Yeah, I agree. If they know that they're not going to be able to talk you in, then they're just going to get rid of you, so you're not in their way, so to speak. Yeah, it's nasty. It's fucking nasty shit.
I just want to divert your attention to the chat, because it's just fucking just Sire and Russ of making bird jokes, and it's just hilarious. Hold your beak higher. I love it.
That's because Frustrated Atheist changed his avatar to a goose with big muscles. Big muscles.
Sexy goose.
Muscly goose guy. All right. Well, what do you figure? Should we let some people in here?
If you want to do an after party, we can let some people in.
Yeah, because I think we pretty much covered.
Ooh.
I mean,
do you have any Q&As? Any questions in the chat?
That's a great fucking idea. There's not too many people there, but I mean, of those 8 viewers, I'm obviously going to be one because I've got it up on my thing here.
I'm probably one of them too. Most of them would probably already know me pretty damn well, so
sure, but maybe they were.
Ones. I know Russell. Russell was the funny ones.
All right, so any of you guys have anything you want to ask NotJah here? I can. Well, he'll see it as well, and I'll read it out or whatever the case may be.
Yeah. Whoever gets to it first.
Yeah, and like real questions, you jackasses. I don't want to see like what size is your penis and all that shit, right? So, and is it corkscrewy like mine? You know, being a goose or a duck or whatever.
Who's my favorite Ninja Turtle?
Oh,
probably Michelangelo. If that's his name, isn't it? It's been a while since I've watched.
Yes, it's Michelangelo.
Yeah. No real reason though. I think it was just because as a kid I liked the name, and that was literally what stuck.
Well, he was always the fun guy with the skateboard and the pizza and shit too, right? And he used nunchucks, which I have. That's why he was my favorite. Also assist. Yeah, fair call. I ended up. I was a BMXer more than a skater because I can't skate to save my life. But yeah, I could see how that would be something I'd go for. I skipped Russ's question. What is your position on bread? Generally speaking, I would prefer it around food, not around people. People don't taste it. Or geese. I suppose a goose. I'd have a goose sandwich. That doesn't sound too bad. We'll cook you up nice. Well, unless it's a baby, right? Because we eat babies and shit, right?
Oh yeah, definitely babies.
You got to have a baby sandwich.
They're so small, you can just stick them on the spit and roast them whole. yeah, exactly. Oh Lord, what other denominations are you well versed in? Probably none as well as the Witnesses. All the others, I've just touched on and I've learnt bits and pieces, but I'm not like well versed in any of the others. And the only other religious denomination that I currently fall under would be I am a minister of Dudism.
No way, are you?
You want to call it of Dudism? Yeah, I am. I can't show you my certificate because it has my actual name on it. But
yeah. Oh shit! No, that's the wrong.
It's not real here anyway because they don't classify it as a real religion here in Australia. But yeah, whatever. It's still fun.
Dudism's awesome. What are you talking about? I think if I had to join any type of religion, it would be fucking Dudism.
Yeah, I mean it is. I haven't even had to. I haven't even had to kill a baby for this one. It's so breezy.
Well, I just sent Wonder Lady
I was gonna say
a link,
or
not Wonder Lady, Lavender Lady.
Before you invite people in, it probably would be a good idea to finish up with this stream and start up a new one. Because once you run them too long, people don't want to watch them in the VOD, video on demand, like later.
Right.
Afterwards. Yeah. There's a good point there by God. Who was it? Lavender. There it is. I knew it was there in the chat somewhere. Because that way we can divert everyone over to the other one.
Of course.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then let's wrap this up, and I'll fire up an after party. How's that sound?
Sweet. Sounds good.
All right. Well, first off, what I want to do is thank you, especially for coming on and doing this. I know you had to get up maybe a little earlier than you wanted to do this because, of course, you're in the future. So you got to tell me, how are things in the future? Do we have flying cars yet?
No flying cars, but I don't think you want to know what Trump tweets tomorrow.
Oh, no. I don't really give a shit what Trump tweets at any time. So, all right. So once again, guys, once we're done with this, I'll fix up the description box below and I'll put NotJah's channel in there for you because he's a very interesting guy. And he's become a very good friend of mine, even though we've never actually met in person. We've met enough times where we know that, you know what, this guy's cool. Yeah, I think this guy's cool too. So that's the way it happens.
It's pretty hard when we live so far apart.
True enough. But on my bucket list, Australia is on it, and at least now I know where I can go somewhere and I can crash. So,
hell yeah!
Watch out, man. I might be fucking hanging out at your place for a couple of weeks at some point. Just I want to catch some funnel web spiders.
My parents would love that.
I know. Who's the guy sleeping in the garage? He looks like a hobo. Anyway.
All right. Come around and check us all out on the after party, peeps.
We're gonna throw one there now, and I'll send some people the links that if you want to be a part of it, let me know. Send me a DM in Twitter, and I'll send you a link to the new after party, the after NotJah party, because it's NotJah party. And remember, my godless friends, remain godless because it's called faith, because it's not knowledge. See you later. Thanks again, NotJah. Cheers.
No problem.